Hello, beautiful people. Welcome or welcome back to Alexis Faye Yoga. I'm so very glad that you've decided to join me today. For today's practice, we are doing a mellow flow. That means we're going to do a lot less up and down. We're going to be on our mats, on the floor for the majority of the class. We will still get a little bit of core work and strength in, but at a slower pace. This practice is great for all levels, as it is a nice gentle practice, a nice relaxing practice for you. Now, before we get started, be sure to hit the like button down below and click the little subscribe button if you have not already. That really helps me out. Now, roll out your mat and let's hop into it. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another week of yoga. Sending that right foot back. All right, we are going to begin on the floor, laying on our backs, making our way to a full body stretch by reaching the toes out in front of the body. We'll circle the arms up overhead, reaching them back behind, taking up space here, taking up space in the room that you're in your body, and in your energy today. We'll close the eyes and take a few breaths here. We'll take large breaths in through the nose and pause at the top of the breath. Then fully letting that breath go. And again pausing at the end of the breath before starting fresh with a new breath in. So we're finding a box breath. Breathing in, pausing for a second. Breathing out, pausing for a second. And breathing in again. We'll take our arms out to a T, fingers straight out from the shoulders, palms up to the ceiling. Now we're going to move our chin over to our left shoulder. And with our next inhale, coming back through center. Exhale, moving our chin over to our right shoulder. And again, with an inhale, back through center. We'll circle the arms the rest of the way down to the body. As we walk the bottoms of the feet into plant on the floor. Now, if you notice that you have a space in your low back that is not currently touching the floor, we'll pick up the hips, rotate or scoop them forward and set them back down so we're nice and flat to the ground. We'll reach both legs up to the ceiling and we're going to play around with them, pointing and flexing the toes. We'll circle the ankles out. Now we can use the hands to hold the legs here to find more of a passive stretch, or we can find a more active stretch or strengthening by reaching the arms up to the ceiling and doing the same wiggling out, splaying the fingertips, circling out the wrists, circling out the ankles. Now we can use the hands to hold the legs here to the body, or we can bend at the knees and wrap the hands around the outsides of the foot, or use our pointer and middle fingers to loop our big toes. We'll take the knees out past our rib cage and gently pull down. Now we can continue to find some movement here. Maybe reaching one leg towards straight, finding a little wiggling side to side. Moving out however feels good. From here, we're going to make our way to seated. So we can rock and roll our way forward, or we can drop our hands down and circle us around. We're moving to a butterfly pose. Bringing bottoms of the feet together, we'll loop the hands underneath, pressing down through the knees, pressing into our sit bones so that we can lift tall through the top of the head. And we can find a little bit of movement here, either with a sway side to side, or a slight bouncing or fluttering of the knees. And we'll make our way back through center, lifting tall with the top of the head, pressing down into the hips. With our exhale, we'll hinge forward, softening the chest a little bit closer to the feet. It may not be much of a movement, but that is okay. With our inhale, we'll lift the chest back up. Now taking our peace sign, our pointer and middle fingers, we're going to loop our right foot, extending it out to the side and setting it down, releasing the foot. And with our left foot, we're going to tuck it in closer to the body. Now moving our shoulders, opening up towards our right leg, and we're going to hinge forward. With our inhale, we'll start ragdolling up the spine, dragging the arms up the leg, lifting the head and neck last. Now turning us open to our bent leg, our left leg. We're going to really press down through our right hip or press out through our right hip. With our exhale, softening forward, and we're trying to keep both hips, both sit bones down on the floor as we do so. With an inhale, lifting up again. We're going to keep our chest open towards this right leg. Towards the left leg, bringing our right hand to our right leg. And we're going to slide our right arm further down the leg towards the foot. Now with our left hand, we can either circle it around to the small of the back to help us open the left shoulder further, or we can reach the arm up and over and bring it towards our right toes. With an inhale, coming back through center again. Now we're going to bring our right leg back in. We can either loop it if we can reach it, lift it up, and we'll bring it across our other knee, or we can lift it up here and walk it to the outside of our left knee. Now we're going to stack our knees. So if they're stacked like this with our right knee up towards the ceiling, that is perfectly fine as long as we can press into our right hip. If you can do that with the legs flattened on top of each other, that's great too. We're going to flex through both feet as we move through our cow head pose. With an exhale, we'll hinge forward, softening the chest a little closer to the legs, keeping the spine long by taking the eyes out in front of us. With our inhale, we'll lift the chest back up. Now our top leg, we're going to loop our fingers around, pressing our weight into our left hip so that we can pick up the right leg. We're going to circle it back behind the body and lift us onto our pigeon pose, readjusting our left leg to find a comfortable place as we walk the hands into the chest. Help us lift the chest up nice and tall. Now when we feel comfortable here, with our exhale, we'll start walking the hands forward and move to a sleeping pigeon. With our next inhale, we'll start lifting the chest back up, dropping our hip over to our left side so we can pick up our right leg, circle it around. This time it's going to be on the inside of our right knee. We'll take our left arm up to the ceiling, bringing our elbow to the outside of that right knee. Our right arm will circle around behind us and we'll find a little twist. We'll slowly start bringing the chest back around in front of us. Now our bottom leg, we're going to move out to the side, bringing the foot in front of us. Our right leg will tuck in and back to that butterfly, sitting up tall as we press down through the knees. We can find a little movement here with our sway side to side or our gentle flutter or bounce to the knees. Now, if our hands are not interlocked underneath of our feet, we will do that, interlocking our fingers, wrapping them around the bottoms of the feet, sitting up nice and tall. We're going to move our left ear over to our left shoulder. With an inhale, coming back through center, back to a neutral plane and neutral neck alignment. And with an exhale, we'll drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. Again, with an inhale, lifting the neck back to a neutral plane. Now with our next exhale, we'll drop chin to chest. And let the top of the head be heavy. Good. Inhale, lifting the neck back to that neutral alignment. We're going to loop our peace signs around our left foot, our left big toe, extending it out to the side and setting it down. We'll tuck our right foot into the body, turning the shoulders to look at that left leg with our exhale hinging forward. Now ragdolling up the spine, starting at the base of the tailbone, rolling one vertebrae up past the next, dragging the arms along as we lift, and then lifting head and neck last. Now we'll turn our shoulders over to our right leg, pressing down through our left hip or rotating out through the left leg. With our exhale, we'll soften the chest closer to our right knee. Again, an inhale to lift us back up. We'll keep our shoulders facing our right leg so that we can drop our left hand to the left leg. Slide further out towards the foot. Our right hand can come around to the small of our back, or it can lift up and over and reach towards those left toes. With our inhale, lifting back up. Now if we can grab for our left toes and lift the leg from there, we'll bring it to the outside of our right knee. Now we'll move to that cow head pose again. So if your stack is a tall stack, that's great. Or we'll flatten our stack, bringing knees over top of each other, flexing through the feet. Sitting up nice and tall, and with our exhale, hinging forward, bringing the chest a little closer to our legs. With an inhale, we'll lift the chest up again, grabbing for our left toes, moving our weight into our right side. We'll circle that left leg back and around behind us as we lift onto our pigeon pose, readjusting our front leg, however it needs to be to feel comfortable. We'll walk the hands into the chest. And then with our exhale, move to that sleeping pigeon, hinging forward, bringing our arms out in front and softening the chin to the chest. Again, with an inhale, we'll start lifting the chest back up, dropping our weight into our right hip. We'll pick up the left leg and bring it to the inside of our right knee. With our inhale, we'll take right arm to the ceiling. Bring the right elbow to the outside of that left leg. We'll circle the left arm back and around and find a gentle twist. Inhale, bringing the chest back around towards the top of our mat. We'll move our bottom foot first, our right foot, and bring it out to the side. Drop the left leg open and back to our butterfly. Pressing through the sit bones to lift tall through the spine. We'll release the feet and we'll bring the knees in together. Now we're going to purposely rock back. So if you have a clip in your hair or something, you may want to move it or be extra careful as you roll back. We'll drop chin to chest, wrap the hands around the legs, and rock back and forth a few times. We're going to make our way to standing next, so we can either pop our way to the feet or drop fully over to one side and make our way to standing from there. Moving to a mountain pose, we'll bring ankles under knees, under hips, pick up the toes, spread them out nice and wide and set them down. We'll lift these shoulders up to the ears, work them back and down the spine, rotate the shoulders back by bringing pinky fingers forward, and then tuck the chin back slightly to bring ears over shoulders. Now we'll close the eyes and take a few deep breaths here. With our exhales, allowing the shoulders to drop a little further away from the ears. As we relax our body and re-find that nice, straight, strong posture. Good. Blinking the eyes open as we start heel-toeing the feet towards the outer edges of the mat. Our arms will come out to a T, and we'll do some happy elephants, twisting open to one side, through center to the other, back and forth, letting the arms move of their own free will, of their own momentum. And we'll slowly run out of that momentum. We'll walk the feet all the way together so our big toes touch. Now, depending on your legs and the alignment of your bodies, that means your heels might not touch, or they might, and either is great, but we're going to focus on the big toes touching and the legs coming together. With an inhale, we'll reach the arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, we'll put a bend to the knees as we press the hips down and back behind us, moving to a chair pose. Now noticing if you are feeling a pinching in the low back, it's probably because you have your hips behind you and you're finding a little hollow space in your low back. If that's the case, we're going to rock or scoop the hips forward instead. Holding here for a few breaths. With our inhale, we'll reach the arms back up to the ceiling. Exhale, dropping them down to our sides. We'll wiggle out as we bring the feet underneath of our hips or to a more comfortable place. With an inhale, we'll reach the arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, cactus the arms. Elbows will come out from the shoulders. We'll squeeze the shoulder blades into the spine. So we're nice and long across our collarbones and the fronts of our shoulders. Now we can stay here with the eyes straight out in front of the body, or we can find a slight back bend, lifting the heart center up to the ceiling. We'll move the eyes forward again if we took them up, coming back to a neutral spine. Inhale, reaching the arms the rest of the way up. Exhale, we'll sweep them out to the sides, hinging from the waist to our forward fold. Now pausing here, we're going to find some way to move and wiggle out through the body. That can mean pedaling out the legs. That can mean finding a little bit of a bounce to the upper body. That could be finding a sway side to side. Or that can mean nodding the head yes and shaking the head no. Finding some way to move, to play and notice how your body reacts and how it feels. Now we're going to put a bend to the knees so that we can walk the hands one step further out in front of us and press down into the fingers. We'll move our left hand out in between our feet. So with an inhale, we can reach the right arm up to the ceiling as we press down through our right leg. Exhale, we'll circle the arm around, bending through both knees to drop our right hand down. Full breath in and out as we reset. With our next inhale, we'll reach the left arm up and press down through the left leg. Exhale, circle the left arm back around, bending into both legs. Now we're going to plant the hands down by adding even more bend to the legs. And we're going to hop or step back to our plank, spreading those fingertips out nice and wide so we take some of the weight out of our wrists. We'll shift forward, bringing our elbows in. Exhale, chaturanga to the floor, to either a cobra or to an up dog. We'll soften the chest a little closer to the floor before pressing the hips up and back behind. Down dog. Now wiggling out here, maybe pedaling the legs or swiveling the hips. We'll extend our left leg back behind, reaching with the toes. We'll circle that left ankle around one direction and around the other. Hugging the knee up to the chest, we'll shift forward and set our left foot down between the hands. A full breath in and an even larger breath back out. We'll press into the feet and lift the chest up. We'll circle the arms up to the ceiling. And we can keep our back heel lifted, or we can move to a warrior one by dropping the heel and pointing the toes 45-degree angle away from the top of our mat. Now maybe lifting the chest up a little bit higher, taking the eyes towards the ceiling for a slight back bend. We'll bring the chest, the eyes out in front again, and drop the hands to the shoulders. Now we're going to find a little rotation, opening up towards our left side, bringing our right elbow towards the top of our mat, and reaching back with the left elbow. Circling the chest forward, and then we'll keep rotating open to our right side, pivoting our back foot around, warrior two. So we're bending into our left knee, reaching forward and back with the elbows. And we're going to find some very, very intentional dancing warriors here. With our exhale, we'll drop our left elbow towards our left knee, taking the right elbow up to the ceiling. With our inhale, we'll rotate, bringing the right elbow back towards the floor and the left elbow up towards the ceiling. Moving back and forth, slow and methodically, pointing with the elbows. And we'll move back to our neutral warrior two. Maybe softening a little bit lower towards the floor. We'll press down with our left foot to extend our left leg to straight. Hips will go back towards our right side, towards the back of our mat. We'll extend our left arm out in front as we hinge forward and move to a triangle pose, extending right arm up to the ceiling. Inhale, we'll float the body back up, bending into our left knee. Warrior two, this time with our extended arms. We'll cartwheel the arms around to frame out our left foot, picking at the left leg, sending it up and back behind, three-legged dog, to our down dog. Now we can stay here in our down dog, or we can add that vinyasa by shifting forward to our plank, chaturanga to an up dog or a cobra. We'll soften the chest closer to the floor before pressing hips up and back, down dog. And wiggling out some more here. We'll extend our right leg back, reaching with the toes, before circling the ankle out one way and around the other. We'll bend at the knee, driving the knee to the chest as we shift forward and set the right foot down. Full breath in, even larger breath back out. Pressing into that front foot to lift the chest up. We'll circle arms up overhead, and again we have that option to keep our back heel floating or to move to a warrior one by dropping the heel down. Maybe adding that slight back bend by lifting heart center up and taking the eyes towards where the ceiling and wall meet. We'll bring the eyes forward. Drop the hands to the shoulders. Now rotating open to our right side, reaching our left elbow out in front. Circling around to bring the chest forward. And we'll keep rotating until our right elbow's towards the top of our mat. And we've pivoted our back foot around, Warrior Two. Now our dancing warriors again on this side. Exhale, bringing right elbow up towards the right knee, left elbow towards the ceiling. Inhale, reverse. Right elbow will go up, left elbow will come down. Back and forth. And back to our neutral Warrior Two. Maybe softening a little bit closer to the floor. We'll extend out through our right leg, pressing the hips behind us, extending right arm out in front as we hinge. Reaching the left arm up to the ceiling, triangle pose. With an inhale, floating the body back up. Neutral Warrior Two, reaching forward and back. We'll cartwheel the arms to frame out our right foot. Picking up the leg, pressing it up and back, three-legged dog. To our down dog. We'll slide the hands one hand's distance closer to the toes, putting more of a bend to the knees to press the hips up and back behind. And we're very slowly going to shift forward to bring our shoulders over the wrists and to drop the knees down to our tabletop. And tuck the toes. And with an inhale, we'll lift the eyes and the tailbone up as we lower the stomach towards the floor. Exhale, pressing into the hands to arch up through the back. Tuck chin to chest and tailbone under. Back and forth with our cat and cows. And back through our flat spine, our flat back tabletop. We'll walk the knees to the outer edges of the mat, bringing big toes into touch or to point at each other. We'll walk the hands out further as we press the hips back, wide-legged child's pose. Now pressing into the hands, we're going to make this more active for the neck by, instead of bringing the forehead to the floor, we'll bring our hairline or the top of our head to the floor instead. Now you can always bring the hands closer to the head to take some of the weight out of the neck, but tucking chin to chest and softening down. With our inhale, we'll press into the hands to shift forward to our tabletop and walk the knees underneath of the hips again. Spreading the fingertips out nice and wide, we're going to move through some figure 8 shapes. Circling the chest forward towards the fingertips, across to center, diagonally back towards the heels, around diagonally up to the hands. Around, moving in some large looping motions. And now switching directions, circling, looping around the other way. And back to our tabletop again. We'll walk the knees towards the outer edges of the mat, bringing big toes in together or to point at each other. Moving our left hand towards center. With an inhale, we'll reach the right arm up. Exhale, we'll reach that right arm as far to our left side as we can before bringing our shoulder and side of face down. Pressing into our left hand to help us unthread the right. We'll reach the right up and bring it down in front. Full breath to reset. And with an inhale, we'll take left arm up. Reaches as far to our right side as we can before bringing shoulder and side of face down. We'll press through the right to unthread the left, reaching the left up and bringing it down. We'll walk our way back into our tabletop and then take the hands a step further out in front. Tuck the toes under, press the hips up and back, down dog. We'll extend our left leg back behind, bring it to the chest, and we're going to drop it down underneath of our hip as we shift forward. So we're in kind of a half table pose. Now we'll move our left hand in front of our left leg. We can drop our left toes down in line with our left side or over to the left side of our mat. but we're going to pivot our right foot to the inside and take our right arm up to find a variation to our side plank. Now we can stay here. This is awesome. Or we can lift our right foot up off the mat, or we can keep that right foot down and extend our left leg back to our right foot and find a full side plank. We're going to hold here for a couple of breaths as we press down through the left hand to keep us strong and stable. Exhale, we'll drop our back feet, circle the chest around, pick up the left leg, up and back, three-legged dog, to our down dog. We'll extend our right leg back, bring it to the chest, and we'll set it down under the hip as we shift forward. Moving our right hand in line with that right leg. We can drop the toes in line with the knee or back towards the right side of our mat, pivoting open to our left side, and we'll reach the left arm up, side plank. And again, we have those two options from here. We can either lift up the left toes, or we can extend the right leg back, finding a variation that feels challenging, because we're only going to hold here for a few breaths, but feel stable. And we'll circle the chest back around to our down dog. Now we're going to drop the knees down to the mat and walk the hands just a little further out in front. So we're trying to keep the tailbone over top of the knees. We can either flatten the tops of the feet down or keep them tucked. But we're going to move to a puppy pose, softening the chest towards the floor. Now we can bring the forehead down to the mat, or we can reach the eyes forward by bringing the chin to the mat. We'll press into the hands to help us walk them back to our tabletop. Now we're going to move to a child's pose again. You can keep the legs together or find that wide-legged child's pose, whatever feels best in your body. And with our inhale, we'll press into the hands to help us lift the chest up. We're going to move to seated, so we can cross the ankles and roll back or circle the legs all the way around. And we'll move to the middle of our mat and back to our butterfly pose, interlocking the fingers underneath the feet, sitting up tall. We're going to walk the feet a little further away from the body to move from our butterfly to more of a diamond shape. Again, sitting up tall, pressing the hips back behind us as we hinge forward. We can keep the hands on top of the feet, or we can thread the arms underneath of the feet to help us pull forward, long through the spine, and down closer towards our feet. With our inhale, we'll unthread the arms as we make our way back up, bringing knees in together. We'll shift back so that we can pull the ribs and the hip bones a little closer as we engage through the core, reaching the fingers out in front, palms up to the ceiling, and we'll lift the legs for our boat pose. Now we can always keep the toes down as our kickstands. We can take the shins parallel to the floor, or we can extend the legs fully long and reach with the toes. We'll extend out a little bit further and a little further. And we'll move to our full body stretch. Circling the arms up overhead, reaching to the back of the mat, pointing and reaching with the toes. And a few big breaths. Now we'll start bringing our arms down alongside our body. We're bringing the hands to our abdomen. As we move to a Savasana, corpse pose, a rebirth from this moment to the next. Finding a place to be comfortable, to be restful, and to be quiet in the thoughts. To be soft in our emotions and to be still in our bodies. We'll find that box breathing again. Large breath in through the nose, pausing for a second at the top of the breath before pressing the air back out, fully letting go of the breath. Pausing for a second and restarting with another breath in. With each exhale, allowing the body to soften, to grow still as we let our breath slow. And fully let it go again as we invite some movement back into the body, wiggling the fingers and wiggling the toes. Now when you feel ready, go ahead and roll to one side, and we'll take our moment of gratitude here. Thank yourself for coming to your mat today, for taking this time out of your day, out of your week, to refocus, to notice how you move, how you breathe, how you think about yourself, and for allowing yourself this moment to take care of yourself. Allow yourself peace and quiet. Allow yourself strength and movement. Give yourself a nice big mental hug and thank yourself for taking care of you in this class and in your lifetime. Again, when you feel ready, you can make your way up to seated. We'll slowly start to blink the eyes open as we bring one hand down to the mat beside us and take the other arm up and over. We'll cartwheel the arms and switch sides. And again, back through center. We'll close the eyes one last time as we take another breath in through the nose and let it go as a sigh. Thank you so very much for joining me today. It is always such a joy and an honor to get to spend this time with you. If you did not hit like and subscribe at the beginning of class, make sure you do it at the end of this video to help me out immensely. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Go in love, go in light, go in peace, and go in joy.